Diva, we have to talk because I know you've been feeling it. The way things used to work in your business that are no longer working anymore. You are not crazy. You are not doing it wrong. What's happening is the old business paradigm is collapsing in real time. And if you don't understand what's really going on, you're going to feel like you are constantly missing something, constantly tweaking your offers, constantly shifting your marketing, when the truth is it's not about your strategy at all. It's the fact that the game itself has changed. There is a reason why people are struggling to get engagement, struggling to convert clients, struggling to get their business to scale, even when they're following the rules, the best practices, and doing all the things. But the rules have changed. You can't build a thriving business in this new frequency while still playing by the old playbook. The businesses that are thriving right now are not the ones with the most polished marketing or the most sophisticated funnels. They're the ones who are operating from a different level of truth, power, and energetic alignment. This is the shift that is happening. It is no longer about effort or proving your expertise or trying to build authority so that people listen to you. It is about something much deeper. It truly is about whether your presence alone moves people. You gotta focus on whether your energy is so aligned that people can feel your power before you say a word. You gotta be embodying the frequency of wealth, impact, and influence so completely that it doesn't matter what your strategy is, because people are naturally drawn to you at a soul level. And this is where we're going, but a lot of people are still trying to figure it out. They're still looking for the right sales formula, the right content schedule, the right messaging tweaks. They think that the reason their business isn't scaling the way it used to is because they haven't quite nailed the perfect strategy. But the truth is, their frequency hasn't shifted. And when your frequency hasn't shifted, you are still marketing, selling, and structuring your business based on rules that no longer exist. This is what today's conversation is about. We are talking about the collapse of the old business model and the rise of the quantum business model. We're going to talk about how to move in a way where clients find you, money moves first, and your sales become effortless, not because of what you are doing, but because of who you are being. And we're also going to go really deep into something that stops so many powerful women from stepping into this. And it is the illusion that you have to prove yourself before you can lead. It is the idea that you need to hit a certain level before you are qualified to teach it or share it. And it is the belief that you need to earn your voice in this space before you can stand in your full power. Because that belief is keeping you very small. So let's get into it. What is really happening? Traditional businesses, as we've known it, is breaking down. It's not just in small ways, it's the entire foundation that business has been built on for decades. It's collapsing in real time. So like for years, we were taught that business was about strategy, effort, and proven systems. We were told that if you just follow the steps, if you structured your offers in this right way, built out the right funnels, ran the right ads, mastered the right sales techniques and messaging, you would be successful. Business was treated like this formula. When you put in the right variables, you will put out the right results, right? You'll just output the right results. And for a long time, that worked because we were operating in a 3D reality where hard work, consistency, and systems were enough to move money. But right now, the very fabric of how money, power, and influence move in this world has changed. And if you do not shift it, no strategy in this world is going to save you. Think about that. Have you noticed how marketing, it feels so different? Have you noticed how traditional sales tactics feel icky? They feel off, even when they're done by people who do it very well. Have you noticed that people's attention spans are shifting? They see through inauthenticity so quickly. We're becoming psychic, of course. We're all psychic. But this isn't random either. It's not just the algorithm changing. It's a fundamental shift on the frequency of business itself. And here's why. For years, business was built on psychological manipulation and scarcity. Urgency-based marketing that plays on fear. Funnels that created a false sense of lack. Positioning yourself as an authority by manufacturing credibility. And all of that is control. Controlling the narrative, controlling the customer journey, controlling the messaging so that people feel like they need what you have. But now control doesn't hold the same power. The collective frequency has risen and people feel when something is off. The second they detect manipulation, they back off. The second they feel forced into something, they lose interest. The second they feel like you are trying to sell them something instead of activating something inside them, they shut down. People are no longer buying from those who market well. They're buying from people who hold the highest frequency. People are no longer looking for information, they're looking for transmissions. And people are no longer following those who look the part, they're drawn to those whose energy is undeniable. This is why traditional strategies are failing, not because they're bad, but because they were built in an old frequency where people were more easily controlled. And now that the illusion is crumbling, now that more people are stepping out of that illusion, leaders are rising who are not trying to be the best at business tactics. They're the ones who know how to be and care about people. This is why service is so important. Before I go into telling you about the quantum business model and how to operate in this new frequency, I want to tell you a little bit of a story. So I have been around for a very, very long time. I worked for some of the largest companies in the world, managed billion-dollar brands, added hundreds of $1,000,000 to bottom lines. This is just what I do. I came into this industry when the bottom to the top story was hot. I've seen the masculine hustle work. I've seen the feminine energy crowd come in, and it was like, lay down, play with yourself in the tub and, crystals, and it's going to be okay, right? So I've seen everything. I've done everything. And I'm somebody who, I'm a good student. You tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. For a while I had been a good student. So I was like, I'm going to market and I'm going to market and I'm going to say all the right things. And for a while I was like, okay, this is good. People are listening. But then there came a point where nobody was listening anymore. And I was like, why isn't anybody listening? Like, why Why are there some posts that people listen to and some posts that people aren't listening to? And I was like, some posts where people will buy and some ways they won't buy. Some things that I'm doing where people will sign up and then some other ways they're not signing up. I don't get it. And so I just started to observe. And as I observed, I started to look at what was working, and it was always the thing that was coming from my heart that was calling people forward. And it wasn't necessarily the perfect marketing, it wasn't necessarily the perfect pitch, it wasn't even necessarily the perfect specificity or getting to talk to the exact right person. None of that. It was where I was in my heart. It was where I was calling them forward. It was where I was really about serving and coming to connecting on a soul level and saying what they need to hear, not because I know it's going to make them buy, but just because I know that this is what they need to hear. That is where the market is going. And the reason why it wasn't working for me in the old way is because I rose my frequency up so high. My frequency is really high. And because my frequency is at a certain place, it just doesn't work. I can't use the same game. So you may be seeing your mentors and people that you absolutely love, and they're still marketing the same way, and they're still making millions of dollars, and they're like they're just flying. And it is just because their frequency may still be aligned with that type of marketing, or they've created a business and input so much value into the economy and into the business and into the market that these old ways are still working for them because they've given so much and their value is there and they have the audience and people know that they're good at what they do, so they don't like tune out to the marketing the way they do. But for me, I rose my frequency so high that nothing that my mentors were telling me to do was working. And I was like, what is going on? And that's when I discovered this. I discovered the quantum business model, and I was like, oh my God. And I was like, frequency work, that's what I do. So, of course, this is where the direction is going. And so, I would just want you to know that if you're like, I'm doing everything and it doesn't feel like it's working, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. It's just you're playing the old game. And if we're done the work and done the shadow work and you've got this intuition that's flying and you're like really have service-based heart and you're trying to market the way so you can blow up and make all the money, those ways are not going to work for you. And you've already felt it. You've already seen it. So let me talk about the quantum business model and how to operate in this new frequency. Because if the old way is collapsing, what is replacing it? And so this is what I'm calling the quantum business model. It's where money moves first, strategy follows, and business is no longer built on effort, but on energetic alignment. It's no longer about getting clients. It's about becoming someone that people are drawn to on a soul level. That sense of service, love. It's no longer about marketing that positions you. It's about your presence speaking even louder than your content. Lately, I've had so many people say they need to be in my world because my frequency, because they felt it. They needed to be there. And my marketing wasn't speaking to the feeling that they were feeling and the knowing that they had. And because I was trying to get so specific, so detailed. And so it's no longer about selling tactics. It's really about you radiating with so much certainty that people buy because they know they need to be in your energy. And so when I look at some of the people that are still marketing the same way, what is different is that their certainty is so powerful and so strong that people feel it over what they're reading. It's not about the marketing, it's about their certainty. So in the old business paradigm, you were taught that if you want money, build the system that will create it. What the quantum business model tells you is the truth, which is if you want money, become the person who holds it, and the system will adjust to match you. So for old paradigm, you put in the effort first and then money followed sometimes. With the quantum business model, money is a natural effect of your frequency, not a reward for your effort. Let me say that again, because this changes everything. Money is no longer a reward for your effort. It is a natural effect of your frequency. This is why the leaders you see who are making the most money right now aren't necessarily the ones with the best content, the most launch strategies, or the biggest email list. They're not even the ones with the biggest followings. They've got smaller followings too. They are the ones whose energy shifts reality the moment they speak or share. They're not just teaching, they are it. They're not using psychological tricks to make sales. They're simply holding a field so potent that the audience moves without needing to be convinced. They're the ones who aren't waiting for proof before they fully own their power. They just embody it, and reality bends to match them. This is what it means when I say money moves first, strategy follows. Your business is no longer about attracting clients, creating demand, or proving your value. Your business is about this one thing: holding a frequency so powerful, so certain, so activated that people feel it in their bodies before you say a word. This is what is replacing traditional business. No more convincing. Your certainty does the selling before you even pitch. Nor positioning. Your energy is what makes you an authority, not your credentials. And no more marketing tactics. Your words land not because they're perfectly crafted, but because they are undeniable. This is the new game. And my question to you is, are you willing and ready to play at this level? And I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but how do I do this? Does this mean that I sit back and wait for money to drop into my account? If it's all frequency, do I just meditate and visualize and hope clients show up? This is what most people misunderstand about this shift. It is not about inaction. It is about moving in a completely different way than you have ever been taught before. You've got to let your energy lead before your actions. It's about moving from a deep inner knowing instead of grasping for external proof. And you need to take action that comes from full embodiment, not fear, effort, or I hope this works. The biggest lie people believe is that you have to already have done something before you can teach it or lead it. That you need to have already made millions before you can help others do so. That you need to already be in the perfect relationship before you can help clients attract love. That you need to have everything perfect before you can lead. That is not how energy works. Nope. I have helped clients hit millions of dollars before I have made millions myself. I've helped my clients attract the loves of their lives while I am single. I've helped people heal their relationships with their partners, and I'm single AF. I've helped people unlock deep healing and create massive shifts in their lives and transform their entire realities without having personally experienced every single thing, every single trauma, or everything that they've gone through. How is this possible? Because my frequency was already there. I wasn't teaching from my proven results. I was leading from, I wasn't leading from, well, I did this, so let me show you. I teach from a knowing, a deep knowing. I was teaching from my frequency. Your frequency is what makes you powerful, not accomplishments. Because guess what? If that wasn't true, how can you explain to me you have coaches who have made $10 million and they can't even help their client get to 6 figures? You have healers who have gone through every trauma known to the known world, yet they cannot help others shift. Can you explain to me? They look like they have the right qualifications, but when they speak, you feel nothing. Because frequency is the authority. You don't have to prove yourself just to be certain. You don't need permission. You need embodiment. And embodiment doesn't mean you've already done it. You don't need experience, you need truth. Leaders who are rising in this new paradigm are not the ones with the longest resumes. They are not the ones who earn their authority through struggle, and they are not the ones who played the rules and climbed the ladder. They are the ones who decided that they were powerful, and then they moved accordingly. So let me bring this back to business. If traditional marketing is failing, if your sales tactics feel off, if your funnel isn't converting like they used to, then what does it actually look like to market and sell in this new paradigm? Instead of creating content that positions you as the expert, you speak from a place of absolute certainty and let the people feel it. Instead of trying to convince people why they should buy, you show up so fully in your power and your heart that they simply know that they need to work with you. Instead of treating business like it's a numbers game, you treat it like an energetic transmission where your presence shifts the people before they even get on a call with you. This is how you sell without selling. This is how your clients find you. This is how business starts to feel effortless. Not because you do nothing, but because every single action you take is aligned, it's potent, it's powerful. So look, now that we have shattered the old business paradigm, let me show you what this actually looks like. Because I know the question running through your mind is like, okay, Christine, I get it, but what do I actually do? Capital letter D. If this isn't about tactics or effort, then how do I market? How do I sell? How do I make money in this new paradigm? Help me, please. And so let me tell you again, aligned action is the key. You're not stopping marketing, you're marketing from a different frequency. You're not going to stop selling. You sell in a way that makes people move from their souls, not from manipulation. And you are not going to stop showing up. You're going to show up in a way that makes you undeniable. This is the difference. So, old paradigm was what? Strategy, algorithms, hacks. Post X number of times a week. Use this sales psychology tricks, follow this formula, you'll get these results. And it worked sometimes because people were still conditioned to respond to external authority, fear-based urgency, and scripted persuasion. But now, People aren't looking for content, they're looking for energy. They're not looking for sales pages, they're looking for transmissions. They're not looking for funnels, they're looking for frequency matches. This is why quantum business model is changing everything. And so in the QBM, quantum business model, you stop trying to create demand and then move as if demand already exists, because it does. You don't convince people why they need you. You don't make them see the value of your offer. You be the frequency of somebody who is already fully chosen because you've chosen yourself. So in practical terms, this looks like, instead of trying to go viral, you become the frequency that is so potent that people who are meant for you cannot stop thinking about you after they see your words. Instead of planning out your content based on trends, you speak from your highest knowing. And that resonance alone is what is magnetizing people. Instead of posting consistently, you post when you actually have something to say. And when you do, it lands like an activation instead of one piece of content. Your marketing is no longer about getting attention. It's about holding a frequency that makes them move. Now, wait. Let me take a short commercial break here and tell you that to talk about consistency, because I know some of you heard my last point and then decided some crazy stuff about posting. So let me clear this up real quick. Consistency is still important, but what you are consistent with is changing. So in the old paradigm, this is a whole masterclass. I should charge for this actually. So you should listen to this as many times as you can, because I might take this down and charge for this. Anyway, in the old paradigm, people were told, post every day, stick to a content calendar, stay top of mind. If you miss a day, the algorithm will punish you. And if you aren't visible, people will forget you. And then keep showing up, even if it's uninspired, even if it feels forced, even if it's just to keep up momentum. And sure, it worked for a while. But that system was built on the energy of effort, external validation. It was based on the idea that you had to keep feeding the machine or else you would become irrelevant. The new paradigm is not about abandoning consistency. It's about shifting what you are consistent with. You are not here to be consistent with posting for the sake of posting. You are not here to be consistent with filling up space on the internet, and you are not here to be consistent with holding your frequency and just dropping it because you nobody responded, or you're just working on validation, or like did they listen? I didn't get any hearts. No one's watching. This is blah 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 blah. No, you're not here for that. What you are here for is holding your frequency, moving with a power regardless of the algorithm, regardless of the results. You are here to hold that power and move with power and hold that frequency. So what does this mean practically? You're still showing up consistently, but the way you are showing up is changing, because instead of forcing content every day, you create from the place of potency, where every post actually moves people. This doesn't mean you're posting less. It means that you're posting from a completely different energy that is a powerful energy. You're more like tapping into the market and what do they get to hear today? Like, what is the thing that I get to share? And this isn't saying that you have to create everything on the day of. You can do this several weeks in advance, but you get to say, what do they need to hear on this day when they see it? Instead of posting because it's the time to post, you post because the transmission inside of you is so powerful, it can't not be shared. And instead of playing the content game, you become the content. It's not like you're filling a content calendar to check the box. You're holding your presence. That makes people anticipate your next post because they know it's going to hit them so deeply. This is why you've got some people that are posting once a week and getting massive results, while you have people posting every day and they're hearing crickets. It's never been about volume. It's always been about frequency. So now let me show you what it looks like to take action. You're still posting regularly, but not from obligation, from activation. It means that you're getting deeply in tune with your inner knowing, your truth, your highest alignment, and you're creating from that place consistently. You're saying something powerful. Your deepest knowing is that you going all in, and you're creating these short form videos that people are just like gaga for. If you feel a high level download coming through and it needs to take 2 days to channel it properly before sharing it, then let it be okay. Consistency from power is not consistently from obligation. So what about the women who would take this and disappear? Because I actually hear them. Oh, so I should just post when I feel like it? Great. I don't feel like it, so I guess I won't post for the next 6 months. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sit down. Sit down. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. That is not what I am saying here. You are a CEO and a leader. You move. You are a business owner. You show up. You are a person who is here to shift lives. You do not wait for the perfect moment to speak. You create the moment. Okay? I'm going to say that again. You are a person who is here to shift lives. You do not wait for the perfect moment to speak. You create the moment. You are the moment. If you are someone who is inconsistent because you don't feel like posting, you need to be called higher. Your feelings do not determine your frequency. Your frequency determines your movement. This is not about waiting until you're in the perfect energy to post. No, ma'am. You are learning how to consistently create from your aligned power so that posting becomes natural, non-negotiable extension of who you are as the divine diva, as the diva CEO. You are leading yourself first so that this message, your message, is clear. Your movement is strong, and your audience knows exactly what to expect from you. If you are waiting until you feel like it, you are leading from the external and not your divine power. If you are waiting until you get the perfect download, you are leading from hesitation and not your divine power. And if you are waiting for inspiration to hit, you are missing the fact that you are the inspiration. You are missing the fact that consistency is a power that you hold. So if you're wondering, how do I be consistent in the quantum business model? Consistency is based on how consistently you hold your frequency. That means showing up, creating, and leading even when external proof hasn't caught up yet. That means consistently sharing your truth, not just when it's easy, not just when people, or you're sure they're going to love it, but because you are a responsible leader and CEO who's been the divine diva and has been told to come in here and do this. And you consistently move as if your audience is already listening, because they already are, even if you can't see it. So post consistently from your truth, not fear. Market consistently from your knowing, not obligation. Lead consistently from your power, not from external pressure. That's what consistency looks like in the new paradigm. So let me talk sales. I'm telling y'all, this is so good. Sales and the quantum business model. You stop trying to convince people. Instead, you sell to the people who have already decided. This is why selling feels so hard for most people. They're talking to people who are still debating whether they should invest, trying to persuade those who don't fully trust themselves yet. But in the quantum business model, you're speaking to people who've already decided. You're not creating from pain points to make people feel they need you. You're not handling objections like you're in a corporate negotiation. And you're not trying to overcome resistance, speaking to those who are resistant everything. You're talking to the people who have no resistance. You make offers from the frequency of course you're coming in. It's already done. Now, what does this look like in practical terms? It means instead of writing a sales page that's all about listing the benefits, you write a sales page that makes people feel something so deeply that they know this is for them. Instead of feeling like you have to launch with this huge plan, you simply open the doors and the right people feel it and move. Instead of having a sales process that's built on urgency or fear or deadlines, you sell from absolute certainty. And that certainty that you have is what moves people faster than any last chance countdown does. You're no longer having a sales process that's about chasing folks down. You are standing in a reality where they are already in. You're not sitting on your ass and waiting for money, but you move completely differently because you're taking action not from desperation, but not from it. I hope it works. You're moving first, knowing that reality adjusts to you. You launch your offer before you have proof it'll sell. You post your message before you see engagement. You speak as if you've already chosen before you have any external validation. You move first, reality bends to match you. That is a diva code. And so if you're waiting on engagement to prove that your message is powerful, you're leading backwards. If you're still waiting for people to ask for the offer before you launch it, you are not even leading. And girl, bye if you are still waiting on validation before you fully own your power. You don't have to wait for proof. You are the proof. When you move like this, business is no longer about working harder. It is about working from a completely different reality. And I know you're feeling the shift. This is the invitation to step into Divinity House because this is where you market from a place of truth, not tactics. This is where you sell from absolute certainty and not persuasion. This is where you lead from knowing, not waiting for permission. It is a temple where you focus on raising your frequency to this powerful frequency of certainty. This is the new paradigm. If you know, you know. Keep it bougie, stay healed, and be divine diva.